Hello everyone. Welcome back to Reddit Night, your favorite Reddit reading channel. Today we are back on our /askreddit. Don't forget to like and subscribe. What is far deadlier than most people realize? Serious. Trucker here. I've had 2 blood clots in my legs from driving long distances and having my leg pressed against the corner of the seat for hours on end. One almost killed me. Apparently it's very common with truckers. You're supposed to stop and walk around every hour and have to keep things circulating, which almost nobody does due to time constraints. The same thing happens in gaming chairs apparently. People forget to move their legs because they're so focused on the game. You don't need to worry so much if you're younger, but if you're a gamer who's a little older, please be aware. Postpartum depression. I live in a country where even considering therapy means you're useless. 2 days ago, in the apartment complex I live, a 30-ish woman jumped from her 7th floor apartment leaving behind his husband and a 2-month-old baby girl. She had lost a baby previously and was depressed but never gave herself time to mourn or therapy. Husband was at work and her mom who was helping her went out to do a quick errand. In that moment she jumped. Going for runs on the roads at night without wearing lights or reflectors. Oftentimes people even wear black. They think that just because they can see the car that the car can see them. It only takes one accident to change someone's life completely. Weirs. It's amazing how many people play around them or swim just upstream of them. Almost no one knows the bottom of them is a death trap of rotating undercurrent, and almost no one knows how to escape one if you do get stuck in it. Even if you do know how to get out, you'll have a hell of a time of it. If a kid gets stuck in one, they're as good as dead, as is anyone who goes in to save them. Very few actually have warnings around them. If you unluckily get trapped in one, try to swim down to the bottom and swim/claw your way downstream along the bottom a ways and then swim up to the surface. They're called low-head dams or run-of-the-river dams in some parts of the world. Sometimes warning signs for them will just say dam. Keep in mind this danger is present anytime water is flowing shallow and fast over the top of something into deeper water at an angle. Even a large rock or fallen tree that has water running over it can create the same underwater trap. Smoke. It's not only the fire that can kill you, and there is a very good reason you're taught to stay low escaping a fire. The smoke is a hot gas layer that can melt your face off. Posted safety precautions. When there are signs saying something, lots ignore thinking they know better. I used to work IT for a place that makes big tractors. Different stations are restricted from using certain PPE. One day this lady was wearing the wrong gloves. Her station is only supposed to use latex. She didn't take that seriously, nor thicker reinforced gloves. She was using the lug nut machine that tightens 12 giant lugs at once. Her glove got caught and instead of ripping the fingertip off of her latex glove, it ripped her thumb right the frick off her hand. I witnessed it and her mistake haunts me to this day. They had to restrain her while 2 men held her hand up in the air away from her. Her wails and screams were terrifying. All because she ignored a well-placed warning. Holding your breath while scuba diving. To most people who don't scuba dive it may sound harmless, but if you hold your breath and ascend even a little over a meter, you can suffer major lung damage as a result of the gas in your lungs expanding from the lessening pressure. Bleach. I knew a boy in the Scouts who decided he wanted a change from his natural brown hair, so he tried to bleach it blonde. Using Domestos. Neat. His younger sister, who was also in the troop, turned up at the district sports day saying he couldn't come because he'd tried to bleach his hair the previous day, and was now in hospital with 2nd-degree chemical burns over his entire scalp. Took 6 months for his hair to grow back. Fortunately he suffered no scarring as a result. Visine. People seem to have this idea that a few drops of Visine in someone's drink will give them diarrhea, and do it to prank each other, or get some sort of satisfaction with petty revenge. People are sitting in prison for murder for doing this. The main active ingredient is called tetrahydrozoline. Once it enters your gastrointestinal tract, it can be absorbed by your intestines and end up in your blood, causing your blood pressure and heart rate to drop to potentially life-threatening levels. It really makes me wonder how many people have died due to people copycatting that scene in Wedding Crashers. Just want to throw a story out here. I am a dentist. I have a colleague who had a patient that needed a root canal. The patient put it off. He had a vacation coming up. He was going to Alaska in bush country to go hunting. By himself. Now Alaska bush country means you are alone. He was dropped off and his ride wasn't going to come back to pick him up for a week or 2. Well, after his ride left, the tooth he needed to get his root canal on blew up. Had severe pain and was all alone, no one to help him in the middle of nowhere. This was mid to late 90s, so no cell phone either. Well, his ride came back to pick him up. Finds a dead body. The guy killed himself. He couldn't take the pain anymore. Pain was so bad he couldn't wait the 1 or 2 weeks for his ride to come back. Sean himself left a suicide note telling his story. Moral of the story: don't put this shit off. There is no pain like tooth pain. Engulfment and confined spaces. With confined spaces, people usually don't realize that O2 runs out rather quickly. Engulfment because people probably don't think about essentially drowning in non-liquids. Infections can still frick you up easily if you don't seek medication attention in time. Tylenol. It's actually a lot easier to overdose on than most people realize, and it slowly destroys your liver over a period of days. Not a fun way to die, to put it lightly. Real black licorice root extract contains the natural sweetener glycyrrhizin, which is over 50 times sweeter than sucrose. This ingredient has various pharmaceutical properties. It acts as an expectorant, facilitating removal of mucus from the lungs by coughing, and it increases blood pressure. The latter effect can become significant with a daily consumption of 50 grams or more of licorice candy for as little as 2 weeks. Glycyrrhizin can cause potassium levels in the body to fall, triggering abnormal heart rhythms, as well as high blood pressure, edema, swelling, lethargy, and congestive heart failure in some people. Shift work. The disturbance in your circadian rhythm takes years off your life. Insulin. Looking at drops on a table, you can barely tell the difference between the therapeutic dose and a lethal one. Oleander, Nerium. In fact, it's one of the most common ornamental plants in Southern California, planted in people's backyards and along freeways. The only problem is it's one of the most poisonous plants in the world. Toxic compounds include nereoside, oleandroside, and saponins. Touchscreen consoles in cars. Mazda now disables touch functionality in their vehicles because they found that when drivers interact with the touchscreen, they drift the vehicle to the right. Taking your eyes off the road to press 3 buttons in 3 different positions on the touchscreen, with a latency each time you press a button, because your seat heaters are literally burning your ass, while trying to maintain control of the vehicle during freeway traffic, is goddamn dangerous. Medication. Those dosages on the labels are not just suggestions, y'all. Birthdays. You are 8% more likely to die on your birthday than on any other day of the year. Windows. It's easy to think they're more secure than they actually are, which is especially dangerous in taller buildings. Falling through a broken window has a very high risk of a major laceration. Broken glass on the floor can again mess your body up spectacularly, and on certain surfaces it's really hard to spot even moderately sized razor-sharp pieces. Edit. LPT for those living in areas that are earthquake prone. Keep a pair of slippers or sandals by your bedside. If there is an earthquake during the night, the chances are you will have picture frames that fell and shattered around your home, and you should have something hard-soled to walk on in that situation. Edit 2. Be a thoughtful human. If you break something made from glass, don't just toss the broken glass. Put it into a cardboard box, tape it so it's sealed, and write broken glass on the box. My parents use layers of newspaper and tape it up. You have no idea who might handle the bag with your rubbish in. Hippos. They kill more people in Africa than lions do. Sitting for long lengths of time. Edit. This got a bit more popular than expected. To elaborate, recent studies have shown that prolonged sitting can be linked to heart disease, type 2 diabetes, depression, and some cancers. Generally, getting up and walking around every 1 to 2 hours is a good thing. Exploring abandoned places. When I was a kid, I would do it all the time and take photos without any form of facial protection. Fast forward years later and I learn about how toxic certain molds can be, how many older buildings used materials like asbestos which can be in the air when places are left to rot, etc. At this point I just thank God I never had to deal with the aftermath of any of that. Also, to anyone who enjoys doing this, I get it. I just want to bring awareness to the fact that if you participate, a respirator and goggles should be a must. Also, as a side note, be wary of scrappers and individuals looking for a place to do drugs. Had a run-in like that during one of the last excursions I made, and it's not fun. Falling down. A single mild fall can easily kill you if you happen to land just right. Usually on the back of your head. Putting feet/legs on dash of car. Deer. Over 120 people a year die from deer directly, and another 175 to 200 from car accidents caused by deer, with some 10,000 injuries, and more deaths and injuries related to deer hunting. By the way, deer are pretty mean and terrible parents. I have seen a deer push her fawn ahead of her near the food, to see if there is a predator, then, if the fawn is okay, go out and hit the fawn to get at the food herself. That's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.